with various text effects, how to work with them and how to deal with them, different types of text effects. So yesterday we learned up to these options, how to handle the shadow effects, text shadow, and define the text shadow. The options how to configure the text shadow I given to you, right? Next, after understanding about the text shadow, some more options. You already given a list here. Some more options we have: text align, line height, letter spacing, how to use them. So next important in the effects, you can see simple. We have text align. So text align. So that already we know. So text align. So is used to align text horizontally, left, center, right, and justified. That is the text alignment. Another option we know, text align and line height, text align and line height. So for that we have another option is line height properties there. So we can use line height. Line height is used to define height of each line. It is nothing but height of each line is nothing but which is spacing between lines. Spacing between lines will increase actually. So that is text align and line height. One simple option I will show you. So how we can manage them. So suppose we are giving some paragraph information here. So in the div, some paragraph information is here. Let's copy some paragraph. These are all very simple effects that we regularly know. Already we know, and in some occasions we use it. Some are new, but they are so simple and easy that we can easily understand and handle them. All right. So you can see, suppose we have some paragraph information, and in this paragraph information we need to handle. So right side unevenness I need to adjust, you know that. So generally, so we can define div text align. We can center justify. It gives a justified alignment. And of course, I'm defining line height. So line height, here we are defining line height. And line height, some 2 EM I am configuring. So that means 2 EM means already whatever is there for that 2. You can see the space between the lines will increase. So because line is already having, of course, you can give in pixels also, some 20 pixels. So 20 pixels, it will get that. Suppose 10 pixels, it will get that spacing between the lines. But usually already line have some spacing, because lines already have some space. That's the reason it is good to define relative units actually, like 2 EM. That means it will be 2 times, right? We can just define the line spacing here. So that is, we can configure text line height and text align. Line height and text align. We have letter and word spacing also. That means we can configure. So letter and word spacing, letter and word spacing, word spacing, spacing. So technically letter and word spacing, how you can define, that means, so for letter spacing, so we have the option letter spacing, letter spacing. So it sets a space between characters, and word spacing sets a space between words. So as per our requirement, we can define. That means here, if I defined as word spacing, word spacing. So suppose 10 pixel word spacing. That means there will be some space between the words, between words. If you are printing some title or something, you can keep word spacing. If you want space between every letter, we can give letter spacing. Letter spacing some 3 pixel. Then you can see space between letters also will increase. Space between letters, space between words. Generally, we can define that in mentioning some titles and all, we can configure. So that is very general option, how we can define letter spacing, word spacing, and configure them, right? So this is a basic level example for all of these options, right? No need to spend much time on that. We already can easily identify them according to their behavior, we know, right? So that their names itself tell what they are. They are easy for handling. Yeah. So another option we have in the CSS, we have text layout styles actually. We have text layout styles. What are the text layout styles we are having? We have text indent. We have text indent. Those definitions already given you. We have text indent. We have text overflow. We have text overflow. So we have a white space. These are the text layout styles. So text overflow, white space, and text indent. So these are the options we can define. Already the definitions I given you here at the definitions I given you, they are the same concepts here. So usually what is the intention of these effects is text indent, text overflow, and white space, how you can manage these. Generally, text indent is simple. So for example, for the same content, word spacing, line spacing, I will remove. So line height also I will remove. Yeah, this is the general paragraph. In the paragraph, what I can give is, I can define text indent. Text indent means how many pixels you need to define for the first line indent actually. So you can see the first line comes from that particular space. So that means for the paragraphs, generally we want first line starting from specific. Then we can define as, so that is text indent actually. So first line of paragraph. So usually text indent is to define the first line of paragraph. Just a simple example here, syntactically. No need of definition also because already I given the definition. Just this style I given here. So that is for text indent. We can give the space between the first line of and the margin or padding actually. Next we have the option text overflow. Actually, we already learned overflow. So text overflow depends on different options. Actually, text overflow defines how to control the overflow. Actually, text overflow, it will provide options like uh, clip. It provide options like ellipse. It provide options like ellipsis, actually ellipsis, and it provide options like delimiter, right? And it you can even give empty. It can give also empty. So generally we call this double quotes means it is referred as empty. Yeah. So text overflow actually depends on white space also. So white space you can give initial, so initial, and you can give inherit, and no wrap. We can give this white space. Technically, text overflow and text white space. So these are used with a combination actually. How I will show you here. Suppose in the div, we are displaying the content. Okay. So one paragraph is there in the div. It is showing the paragraph. Sometimes usually we define the width for div. So width, so that is 300 pixels. That means the paragraph will be here. And we have some border. So the border is actually, so the border is some 2 pixel, some solid and dark cyan. Okay. And here you can see that is the width I defined here, and that is the width. Now usually what happens here is the content that is defined, the content that is defined inside, it fits inside it. According to the width, it fits inside it. Whatever the content is there, it is fitting inside it, right? That is option. And suppose I define as overflow as hidden. Extra anything is there, hidden. Extra anything is there, hidden. Okay, there is no extra actually. So I'm giving extra anything is there, hidden. And here I defined as white space. White space. White space can be defined as wrapping, no wrapping. Wrap means text will come to next line automatically. If I say no wrap, then text will not come to next line. You can see it will display like this. Suppose div is having some height also as 100 pixel. So that is the div height. But you can see that. So the rest of the content present there is not wrapping. So white space indicates, so white space controls actually wrapping. Initial means it will wrap, and no wrap means it will not wrap. So generally wrapping is nothing but, so in the definition, above in the definition, you should know that. So white space controls the blank space. It specifies how text can wrap to next line. So if you define no wrap, then text continues. So that means text will continue. So that is the option. If you define no wrap, text will continue. And overflow I am not giving. Suppose if I am not giving overflow hidden, actually it goes outside. You can see it is going outside. Overflowing, I will hide it. Then extra content is hidden. Generally, this type of information we define in the containers. This type of information we define in the containers. It can have a heading here. Suppose it is having heading as about content. So about product, something like this is there, and some option is there. Now actually it is showing up to the windows. It is showing up to the windows. So here, suppose I am defining something like more. It is defined like this, more, and more is there. Later we can give our own content. Actually, we have a habit to tell that there is more information. Then what we will do is, actually, we can configure this here with the text overflow. If text overflow, then text overflow defined with ellipses. If I say text overflow with ellipses, what happens is it will keep the content. It will keep the content. You can see that with the dots like this, dot, dot, dot will come. That means it indicates that some information is there. Some information is there. Actually, there are different ways of showing it. We can put a link called more, and we will say that click to see the rest of the paragraph. We can put screen tip, and on the screen tip we can display the paragraphs. So, but this is a wrapping style of paragraph. That means content is there, but it is displayed as hidden. Content is displayed as hidden. And text overflow is given with ellipse actually. Ellipses means nothing but it will just give you dot, dot, dot. That is ellipses. Actually, text overflow contains options. So like clip, usually clip option will correctly fit up to that. But that is general thing. So we generally use as a text overflow as ellipses. Then it will correctly set us the content that, okay, we can imagine that there is some more content to display. Remember, how much information will display? That depends on the width of that div. Div width is changing, it will set up to the width of the div. It depends on the width of the div, right? So, and important, you have to give the width. You have to give the overflow. Suppose if I say overflow hidden, suppose scroll I given, then you see scroll bar will come. And I keep right side, and you can see the content is not there because already you clipped it. Already you clipped it. That means already you said that text overflow stop. Don't think that when I scroll, the rest of content will open up. No, it will not open up. That is the reason it is always recommended to define overflow. It is always defined to overflow as hidden. How we can display that overflowing content when user is scrolling? No such option is there. We have to manually design everything like that. There is no any predefined options like that. We have to manually keep. We have to manually design everything. That's what actually the option of how you can use this text overflow related properties. So one is text indent, text overflow, and white space. The example for this is this. This is an example. So here one important point is, so you need to note here is text overflow. Overflow requires the content overflow control. The content to control with overflow. to content to control with overflow and white space. White space. These two options are very much important. Text overflow will not work if you are not using the general overflow and you are not using the white space, because if white space is not used, then wrapping will not be set. If wrapping is not set, overflow of text will not work. You need a combination. So if you miss any one of these combination, then you cannot achieve what I showed you. So when you are practicing, generally you will face this problem, right? So if you miss white space, if you miss text overflows or overflow hidden, then you will not achieve what exactly we are looking at. That means what we are seeing. So that is important. So this is a basic one, how we can manage the text overflow, the content. Better I will snipe this output also for you to show you the basic things, how they work out, right? That is the basic output also. Let me copy that for you so that you can see how it is presenting actually the content. Yeah. So this is the text related, how we can manage the overflow. Next, one more option we are having here is we have a word break. Word break. Similar to overflow, we have word break. Actually, so the point here is many times if there are lengthy words towards the end and you keep justify as an alignment, then you will find a lot of problems. Actually. If there are lengthy words, you will find a lot of problems. So I will show you if lengthy words are there in the paragraph, then what will happen? For example, here, let's remove all this. Okay, so here in the paragraph, I will remove all the options. Okay, so a small paragraph is there. And here some lengthy word is there. RSTUVWXYZ. So some lengthy word is there. Without any break, some lengthy word is defined here. And it is so lengthy. That means it is very lengthy. Just lengthy words sometimes. And after that, we have some hi, hello. So how are you, something. And again, some lengthy words. Without break, so lengthy words are present here. So in this situation, this type of situation comes various, because sometimes some lengthy words come towards the right margin. And I kept here the width as 300 pixels and some border as 2 pixel and the solid and dark cyan. Okay. Now here I defined the height of this as 100 pixels. Okay. And you can see that. So we will also keep margin as 0 and auto. So left and right margins actually, right? So you can see that here it will be displaying the content in this way. Suppose I will remove the header part. I have only paragraph. You can see the paragraph will be in this way. Some lengthy words are there. So usually that word is continuing and the word is displaying there. So the content is displayed along with that, right? This is actually the word, how it appears. actually. Now, technically, word break. So you have an word break option. It specifies whether, so whether line break appears, line break to appear when whenever the text overflow, whenever the text overflow, whether to appear the line break whenever the text overflow. Actually, it uses options. It uses values. So usually it uses values like normal, like break all. So break all, like keep all. These are the options it uses actually. And like break word like this. Now, generally, so we can define this word break. That means word break. So here we write the word break in this way actually. Word break, that is the property. And I am configuring that word break property here. Word break property here. And I say break all. Generally, word break property, when I say break all, you can see that it will break the word and it will keep it correctly fit here. With if I don't break the word, then because it is a complete word, it cannot fit at that particular place. It comes to next line. So it comes in the next line. So that means here we defined suppose break word. So we are defining the break word. You can see that it will break the word and it will keep within that content and display in the next line. So, and you can see that it fits into this. It will not break all the words. It will break only the word that is necessary for that particular situation. Suppose if I say break all, so all, that means what it will do is it will break all the lengthy words. Even that is not necessary for that particular situation, it will break all of them and justify the space between them. So that means technically break word will not justify the space. Due to that, some words will break, some words will not break. But break all justifies the alignment and breaks all the words. If we don't give that, then lengthy words cannot break. So actually what happens here is, so the lengthy words towards the right margin, will not break and continue outside border or break to next line or break to next line. So lengthy words break to next line or not break actually. The lengthy word moves to next line. Move to next line. We should not move to next line. We need to break to next line. So that's what actually word break can do. This you can observe and define only when, so configure this, you can observe and configure only when there are lengthy words. If there are lengthy words, then only this will be having a correct appearance. So towards the end, usually if I don't give this word break, you can see it will go outside. So wrapping is not available. And suppose I given the word break as break word, not break all, then it will break that word and keep that in that line. And only that will break, and it will not justify the alignments. Alignment is not justified. Alignment will be left aligned. Now we need to justify and break. That means we have to define break all. it will justify the alignment also. So that's what it can do, right? So here the option is break all, will justify and break. So this will only break, this will only break, this will only break. And you have an option here. So we have an option as keep all. Generally keep all option, it will be the normal one. By default, you have that keep all. That is the normal option. So that is no need to know about this, because this is just by default. It will keep all the content in the same way. That's how we can manage. So we can manage the text effects and configure the text effects. Manage and configure the text effects. So this is an example for that. So example, how we can deal with various text effects and configure the text effects, right? So the basic point here is, the main concept here is alignments, indentation, spacing, everything comes under this category. Whatever the alignments, indentation and spacing you are trying, all this comes under this category, right? So this is generally how we can configure the text effects. This example also I will give here, and this you can keep this into break all. Okay, that will be better. And this is the example for break all. So how we can keep the word break. If lengthy contents will come towards the end, how we can manage that. And this is the output for that. That's how it is going to show. Okay, that is the output for this. That means how it is going to wrap your paragraph and display. That is the basic output actually. So that is general how we can manage the content styling. This is all how we can manage about the fonts and text effects, working with various text effects. All together given a table, and I given you some examples on working with that, right? Text directions already I showed you how we can change the text orientation, but I told you that the right way is through transitions, define the text directions, right? That is all about working with these text effects, how we can manage the text effects, right? Next important, after understanding the text effects, in CSS, we have to know about how we have to styling lists. So we learned about styling backgrounds, styling borders. So we learned about styling fonts, now styling lists, styling tables, styling forms, how we can manage them. Once we know all these, then we can do them more better with the Bootstrap that we will see in short. Actually, styling list is nothing but, so it includes defining effects. So it includes defining effects for ordered and unordered list, list styling. Actually, it includes defining effects for ordered list and unordered list. That means we can use OL, so UL, and LI elements are defined with styles. In different occasions, some of them we learned, but some more we need to understand actually. So how we can configure and define those effects, we need to see one simple example for that. Usually, what are the basic things first we need to know is about how to define list font and its spacing. In HTML, it is always problem actually. So that means how we can define the lists. Let's see. So list styles dot HTML. In HTML, always the problem is with the lists effects and styling actually. So suppose title I say list styles. Okay. Here in the body, yeah, we have some ordered list. In that we have list item. We have HTML. So we have list item like CSS. We have list item like JavaScript, something. If I want to give some effects for this, then defining the font, configuring the font for this will become little difficult, because you can use font, but there may be list nested. There may be multi-level nested list. We want different effects for every nested options. Then better you go with the styles. Go with the styles. Actually, in this first option is how you can define font and spacing. So actually you can configure font and spacing for list items by using general font effects. That means we can use font size, you know, all of them. So we can use these general font effects. We can use font size, or simply I will give as a by using text effects. Text effects you can apply directly in the CSS. We can define the text effects directly. So that is general. That means how you can define the text effects. Suppose you want to give a font style for this, then usually what we do, so we define the style, and we define as ordered list. For ordered list, we say font size as some 2 em, okay, and font family as Arial, okay, and we defined as line height. We learned just now line height as some 2 em, already whatever is there. Then it will keep some spacing between the lines. It changes the font style and it will keep the appearance. So that is a general font related option how we can apply on our contents. That is a general one. That means how we can apply the text effects. You can use the casual text effects for defining. So this is syntactically how we can configure the text effects. That is a general one. Now, what are the important options is actually list styles. So list styles are provided by CSS. So list styles are provided by CSS to control the list item style. So it contains the options to define the list item style. So list item style with type, with position, and with image. Type, position, image, like attributes are used for that. So how do we configure the list styles? So list types. So we have type, we have position, and we have image. Actually, the purpose of type is nothing but generally it defines different list types. What are the list types? How you can configure. That means the attributes. What are the attributes available? Let's see the attributes available for the list styles. Usually we can use these attributes. So attribute and just description. So what are the options it can define? The basic attributes that you can define for list styles. You can give list style. You can give list style type, which can be lower alpha. So many options will be there. Lower alpha, so it can be upper alpha. It can be like circle, so it can be like disk. It can be like square, etc. You can give lot of effects there. Another one, list style is having position. List style is having position. You can define inside position, you can define outside position. So the position, how it is controlled, we will see that. We have list style image. So it uses a picture as a bullet symbol, picture as bullet symbol. These things already we know. Actually, if you remembered, we already discussed about these. Some of these we already discussed when we learned about ordered list and unordered list. Some options I already showed you. We already learned about that. Some options how to manage, we done that. One simple example here is, suppose I want to define the effects, configure the effects. So how you can define and configure the effects? So list positions, list styles. So what we can do here. See, suppose I'm using an ordered list here. It is displaying these options. Okay. And here I am adding additionally as a list style. List style, we have type, position, and image. Type, you can see lot of options are there. We can use lower Greek, lower Latin, lower Roman. So we can use decimal leading zeros, which we can use decimal. You can use different styles. This is regularly asked in some interviews, so which is very common. So that means sometimes they ask, I want decimal based numbering, so leading with zeros. I want a decimal style numbering. How we can handle decimal style numbering? Suppose if I say decimal style numbering, that means here decimal style numbering, here we don't have any decimal style here, because by default style starts with 1 actually. So suppose we defined here start. So start is 0.5. Actually this is level number if you remember. So right, and you can see it says 0, 1, 2. It will give you from 0, 1, 2 like this. How you can define the decimal type actually? For that, we need to configure the list also in that way. So for that, we need to design some more options. I will show you. We will see one example. Initially, there are ready-made types. Suppose I say here options like alpha, lower alpha. So you can see Latin, lower Greek, so many. I just given one effect, then it will apply that. And even I can define the options like circle and disk. And even if it is an ordered list, it will give you circle and disk. So the list, if you want to define style, type into different options. Several examples we will see. How to give different types of lists. I will give you examples. Then you will get clarity, just like others we have learned, like how to maintain one list, another list. So with the different numbering types, we will see that. First, we will try to understand what are the properties here we are having. So list type, suppose we have lower alpha, upper alpha, it will give you those effects. So that is general option how we can define the list. And here list style position. So list style type and list style position. To understand the position, actually observe carefully. So for list item, I'm defining border as 1 pixel and solid and dark cyan. And you can see there is border for list item. And for every list item, suppose I given as padding as 5 pixel and margin top as some 5 pixel. Okay, you can see the list items have some space here. So border, I defined some 2 pixel solid dark cyan. It is like this. Now actually, you can see the numbering. So technically the numbering, we have here the numbering. That numbering is configured outside. The numbering is configured outside. So we have to configure that inside. So we have to configure that inside. So define that inside. Usually how you can define inside, just we have to change the option like the list style position, list style type, list style position I defined as inside, then it will keep the content inside, those will be inside. And we want outside, then we can keep that as outside. It will keep the content outside. In different situations, we need them actually. In different situations, we need them. Right? In different situations, we need them. Usually, the positions, according to the requirement, we have to configure them. All right. Generally, all these are the list styles and list positions. And to get the position, you should have a list item with a border. Usually, this is regularly seen, is generally regularly seen in bullets points where we can put some symbols like hand symbol, star symbol, and we can keep the points content outside actually. That means suppose if I say the background, here generally the list style type is a lower alpha, upper alpha. We are using list style as alpha. Actually, if it is a symbol, I will show you how do we put a symbol. Then we want that outside actually. Suppose we have a square or a symbol here, this square. We want that outside to display. So some hand symbol, some star symbol outside. Sometimes we want inside, that you can change. Actually, list style type, we can keep symbols and icons also. I will show you. So not only these options, list style type can be configured in several ways. So we can use, generally in interviews, so many questions will come actually. So in interviews, so they ask a lot of questions. For that, we need to understand some points actually. What are the regs that are asked here is in interviews related to the list, especially for freshers, some questions they ask regularly here. Actually, the first important is what are the general list types? So type of position we already learned. Let me tell you image also, then we will discuss about the questions. What are the questions asked? Instead of list type square and all, we can keep an image. Okay, first I will keep up to this to you. An example, I will define this example. Okay, and we can keep an image. If you remembered already, that also we learned. So we can use list style image. Image we can give URL. and it is from images. We have bullet.png, and we can keep that symbol here. Already, if you remembered, in ordered list, unordered list concept, I told you already this. So technically, we discussed at that point already how we can keep an image. So because occasion wise, situation wise, some topics already we learned. This is list style image. That means just I will keep that image here. So another is this is image. So we have that list style as image. Yeah. Some interviews, usually in some interviews, generally when they ask about the lists and all, usually not only general symbols configurations, so for list options, they also define some special languages also as symbols, special languages also symbols. But one of the problem is these languages are not supported on every browser. Unfortunately, those languages are not supported on every browser. Otherwise, you can use different languages also. Different languages also. And some browsers will not support them. So due to that, we need to use other options and configure other options. Like you can keep here languages like list style. See, I'm giving list style type, list style type, yeah, list style type. Here I can give different languages. Suppose I can give the languages like Telugu, like this, the list style type as Telugu. I defined that language actually. So that means it has to display in that Telugu. So that list items will be displayed in that Telugu. So you can use the options like Tamil. So it will display list items in the Tamil if the browser supports. Browser is not supporting that. So that means in order to do that, you have to install all the plugins for your browser which supports various native languages. You can type like Oria, right? It will give you that and display. Few languages are supported, few languages are not supported across the browsers. So you can define different languages. So we can define different languages. So as the list styles. So the options that you configure as list styles, that is important. So configuring the list styles is about how we can manage various symbols. So that means these are not symbols actually. This is nothing but a combination of general languages and their specifications, right? Unfortunately, these will not work on every browser or any location. That's the reason a few we cannot use them. So first point here is how we can define different languages. So some points I will give here. Note. Yeah, first option is list style. List style can be defined for various regional languages, regional and international languages actually. Regional and international languages. That means you can use the options like Telugu. You can use the options like Oriya. So you can use the options like Cambodian. You can use the options like Chinese, right? Different Arabic. So you can use so many. So you can use some Bengali, right? Those are important. Browser should support all these options. International, like you can use Cambodian, right? You can use the options like Georgian. So so many options will be there. International and local styles can be defined for that. That is one option, how you configure the list styles and define the list styles. Different options in the list styles. Another important option is generally, so when you are configuring the list, so it is supported with some set of symbols also. It is supported with some symbols also, right? So technically a combination of symbols, but usually symbols require some ASCII values. So ASCII codes to define. So you have to use those ASCII values and codes and combinations dynamically applying by using a symbol option. And actually it is a function that returns a symbol. So that's the reason. So we will better use that symbol related option, how to work with that in functions and options and their return types we will understand in JavaScript and we will apply them. That means dynamically adding them. Actually, list style can have some symbols. Usually to mention the list style symbols, it has directly symbol option. It has directly symbol option. But unfortunately, all these are not supported because it uses Unicode symbols actually. So Unicode symbols, and they are not supported on every browser. So that's the reason generally if we want some icons symbols like, then we use font awesome only. By using font awesome for ordered list, unordered list, we will put the symbols and configure them. That means generally in real world, to overcome the issues of symbols especially, we actually use font awesome. That means symbols for list items can be defined with so font awesome can be defined with font awesome. That is actually good to define with font awesome. So because generally font awesome will provide icons in a list which you can use. Others are not great. Why? Because if you directly use some ASCII codes, some operating systems can understand those ASCII codes, some cannot understand those ASCII codes. This problem will regularly come. Then we have to use with combination of font awesome only. Better always define with font awesome, right? So generally how we do is, I will show you. So that means font awesome, how we can configure actually. So I'm removing all this here and we have these options. Some here we are configuring. So link relation is equal to style sheet. Style sheet already we know font awesome. Href is equal to. In real world we don't prefer using of Unicode symbols actually. So we prefer by using this. Now this is the symbol. Actually, if you have seen that font awesome official, it has a separate list. Generally font awesome provides options like font option. It provides like FAUL for unordered list, and it provides FALI. So these are used to replace the default bullets in unordered list. That means actually, so you have to use these classes to remove. So, or you can simply say to replace default bullets. To replace the default bullets in unordered list. unordered list, you have to define this. For example, suppose I am maintaining this as an unordered list because our intention is symbol. Okay, and if I want to remove those bullet symbols by default, we want to remove that bullet symbols. Then we are using the class here as FA and FAUL. So that is for unordered list. This will remove them. It will remove them. So that means it is now set to keep your own symbols. So unordered list will remove that. Then we can keep the options for list items. So how we can configure the list items and how we can use the list items. So you have to configure the items and options. And remember, you cannot write for li actually. Now, generally, what is the concept here is if you want different symbols, it is not continuing. So you have to use a span. You have to use a span. And already we know that if you remembered, we learned in different examples. I'm giving an order of presenting actually now. In this, what we are doing is, so we are configuring a class. We are defining a class is equal to. So if it is a class of FA list item. This is of list item. All of them that you are mentioning inside, they must follow that rule actually. That means this is font awesome unordered list. This is font awesome list item. Okay. This is actually replacing them. Already it is replaced here. Now we need to keep an icon for that content. So we have to define an icon for that content. Then usually we can define any item for that content. So actually the items are defined. Items are defined with some value and the content here. So inside this list item, this is the list item span, FA list item span. In this FA list item, remember inside that span, inside the span, we use actually I. So that means actually this is inside that we are using an I. So actually bold, italic, underline, those are the options actually. For this here, I'm adding a class. So I'm adding a class. So the class we can define. So as suppose FA and FA like a spinner. So spinner like this, I'm defining the class. But you know that some are premium. They cannot directly work. You can see this is a spinner icon given there. Spinner icon given there. So that is the spinner icon given there. Actually, so we can add the options like FA. So pulse like option, pulse circle like options. It is, you can see it is moving now. That means we have to use a combination and it is moving now. It is having that effect there. You can give such symbols, such icons, but for that you need to know the font awesome library. And I already told you, it is not like teaching you every class name and you remember, because millions of options will be there. Thousands of classes will be there. You have to go and explore and you have to write according to your requirement, So that means directly the animation will not come. You have to use a combination here. So you have to use a combination. So, and so here you can see another span here we have. So class, we are configuring the class. We can use different symbols. So FA is equal to like check. So square, we define check square. And the FA check square, then it will get you this type of symbol. It gives you this type of symbol. So different symbols you have, so you can define them. If I give just as FA square, then you can get only square. Lot of symbols you can apply now. FA square, so square, square, full, you can give that here. We can keep an outline, so you can give an outline. So configure an outline square. So that completely depends on your requirement. Actually, what you can do is in the Font Awesome official site, here you are searching for icons actually. That means usually Font Awesome related icons list will be there. You need to go into the icons list and we can configure the icons list. You can see there is an icons category. So when I go to this icons, then it will get the icons list and display. And you know that. So you can use different icons and you can keep any icon inside that eye. You can keep all these icons. Only the point is make sure that you are not using any icons which are not actually part of a free ones, right? So that is option. That means in real world development process, usually in the real world development process, we don't prefer so directly symbols to configure. We actually always prefer combination of Font Awesome only for symbols and configuring with that. Actually, we can go with Bootstrap also. So Bootstrap also, but Bootstrap has a limited set of icons. That's the reason very much regularly we go with this type of list items and define them. Actually, we configured them, right? Now, important is here, the next important option is we need to, one more option that already we discussed, that how we can keep the content, so side by side, how we can arrange the content side by side, usually how we can configure the content side by side. Usually when you are using the list items for designing toolbars like things, we need navigation bars and all. We need to keep the contents arranged side by side. Already that answer you know. So this is an example. This is an example for the list items. Yeah, that is example for list items. Yeah, I will keep this example as list for the list items. How we can give from the symbols actually, Font Awesome. Another option regularly asked here is how you can use these arranged side by side. Or in several examples, we will saw that. How to arrange side by side already we know actually. So what we do is, so the unordered list. So the display we keep as flex now. And it will keep the content side by side. And here we define the option as so list items. When you are configuring the unordered list items, unordered list item, suppose I say margin left as some 50 pixels, then it has to adjust the space between them. We can keep them side by side. That you can manage now because already you learned. So when you are using navigation bars and others for the lists, then you have to handle this kind of appearance. Yeah. So we will prepare some real world examples and we will see how to use these list items and handle the lists with some real examples that we'll see in tomorrow's session, right? Some real world samples used with the lists. Then I will give you some exercises to practice so that you can design and you can get them. Because maintaining this lists is very regularly used in websites. You should have a perfection on understanding different effects and alignments and placing. Lists are very important for designing navigations and so many things. That's the reason you need to get perfection. Sometimes you will not feel like this is a list, but actually that is designed through a ordered list or unordered list. You will see that we will see in tomorrow's session, right? Tomorrow we'll continue with this.